Okay, hey, this is Mr. Ackerman Rant Podcast 3000. That's what you're listening at.
It's more
Mark.
of a chat than a rant
It's
tonight.
I don't know. It could, I never know with myself because I do feel like stuff, like the last thing I did where I did that where I went live just for necessity to, like kind of what I'm doing here. So I'd have more recording time. Um, I was, I was kind of like, I had something I was going to talk about, and then that turned more into a chat and boring, where I just talked about the journey, which is kind of like, yeah, it's not as exciting as like a war cry or like a rant, like I do, Mr. Ackerman rants or war cries or motivation. And maybe I just lost it. Sometimes you lose it and it's not meant for and two, this is a different medium. I started doing this. I did at the meeting I did at my church. That was a little more like a rant. That was fun. I needed that. I had everybody there encouraging me, which was really cool. I didn't think I was kind of nuts, but I did it and that was cool. And it was really, really cool to see, people encouraging me. That was really cool. So that was good to get that feedback from everybody, and that felt good. It felt kind of like a high school days, the high school rants.
Corvallis High School.
Corvallis
Now
High
we have
School.
to be specific.
Yeah, when I was at my high school, it was very different. I was more like, hey, look at me, I can sing, I can dance, mime. I still do all that, but it's very, and then making movies. I made movies, but I made movies now that have gone out places. That was the only difference. There, I was making movies more for the school and the friends and the neighbors and the family, and then it turned into a worldwide thing, and that's what I did. So it changed a lot. Anyways, so welcome those of you. We're doing this live. For those of you who are listening to this later, this is the Happy Veterans Day. This is Veterans Day technically today. Those of you who are listening on to the Apple Podcasts, this is being taped live, and we're allowing people to join in and talk to us. It's great, Jake. So right now, like what I just did, I just saw somebody join. They just asked me a question. I answer when I see it. If I don't see it, we just started talking to one of my old classmates or high school. She graduated me in 1999 at San Marcos High School. She was on here talking. Rachel, got to talk to her for a moment. I totally thought she was like an old student from Corvallis, and because I did have Rachel or Rachels in my class, and so I thought it was like them because they have like different. Your username, your handle I don't recognize sometimes. So I don't, so it is how we see it. We just see these floating handles, and sometimes you don't have, like Jake has his picture, you can see his profile.
Well, now when you think about high school and people talk to you about
and he
high
says
school,
his name is the Bose of Photos.
When you talk about high school though, now your mind goes to being a teacher, because that's
because I became a high school of a lot of people, like Rachel said she did look at our photos. Sometimes we like each other's photos and stuff because she does her like us. We put our family out there, and she puts her family out there.
That's the gram.
And on the Instagram and Facebook and stuff. So, anyways, it is going good. Jake, thanks for joining. We're just doing our taping like in this way we did last Saturday. And so we did put that out.
You want me to take your guitar?
I know. I'm just like holding it like a big. Yeah, we could put it back. I was playing the guitar. So what are we going to talk about? I'm probably ruining my mic by clapping like that. I didn't mean to do that. Anyways, yeah. It is a Saturday night, and I ain't got no body. I'm sorry. And tomorrow is Sunday.
That comes after Saturday.
And then after that is Monday.
No.
And then after that is Tuesday. I was gonna say Tuesday. I don't know why. Yeah. Tuesday. Why am I talking like this? Anyways, I'm Seinfeld. So, let's talk about stuff. Let's talk about, wait. No, you're not late. We've been doing a pre-show this whole time. I was like playing the guitar. We were me and one of my old classmates were talking. My Aunt Michelle was asking if she late.
Hey, Michelle.
Aunt Michelle's on. Anyways, we'll see if anybody else comes on. Last time we actually started later doing this.
Yeah.
And that's when Scotty came on and stuff like that. They'll probably see this later. Move it out of the way so you can, if you need to come in.
I'm
but
good.
You're good. I know we're doing this a different round. We're just like threw up the camera instead of setting up with the table and everything. I just like put everything out. I'm starting to clean up the set back here from our Halloween show. It's been still sitting back there this whole time. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna get to it. So I have something, right? So, okay. Defeat sucks. Failure sucks. Trying to get motivated after failing a bunch of times sucks. But there's something about deciding to sometimes I'll get up in the morning and I'll wake up and I just decide I'm having a good day. Not sometimes. I try to do that every day. I do try that every day. I go, I'm having a good day. And if I'm like not being aware of that or thinking about that, my day will eventually be ruled by somebody else's problems or some other thing or something will happen. And that one little thing, which could be a big thing like a car not starting, something else happening, cat getting hurt. What's that?
A work email.
A work email.
Just whatever.
Can totally ruin your day. And so like today I did it. I remember I sat up and I went, okay, it's going to be a great day. Gonna make things happen. Even though I was like, still I got up and I was like a little tired and stuff. But I was like, I'm going to get up at this time, instead of just like, sometimes I sleep in. I got to sleep in a little bit today, but I made myself get up. Actually, I was like, okay, I got to get up and drink my coffee. I always have my coffee. And then I watched, you know what I watched? I watched old Tom Green show. I don't know why.
I don't know why.
It does. It kind of amuses me because I'm like, because nowadays what people do, and they do YouTube, but this was before the YouTube, and it was like before the YouTube, Tom Green was doing like that was the paving the way. What I like is if you were offered $10 million, I'm reading this right now from Jake Bose, and then I'll get back to my stupid Tom Green thing. A quote I like is, if you were offered $10 million tomorrow, but you die by the end of the day, would you take it? Most people said no because them being alive after the next day is worth more.
That's right.
That is so true. So true. I don't know why I keep changing my voice. It's so true. Yeah, so I was watching Tom Green. He was paving the way. I think what I was watching, some of the stuff he does is like fail. A lot of it's failing. Like he fails, he's trying things to get a reaction out of people. And when he actually fails, is if he doesn't get the reaction, he doesn't get them like if nobody cares. He's like, okay, he would always say, all right, should we leave? I don't know what just happened. Should we leave? They left that stuff in. And it was like, and then they cut it because it was an MTV show that Tom Green did Access Television, got picked up by MTV, did the same thing on MTV. And then we saw Tom Green, the actor, which normally this generation, they probably don't remember who Tom Green is.
Well, he kind of took a hiatus.
Yeah, he's back in Canada. He left during the whole pandemic. Did that whole thing. He
went to Canada.
He went back to, well, he's from Canada. He says, sorry.
That's unfortunate.
Sorry. So, yeah, so so I was watching, I don't know why, I was watching that this morning, and that's all I watched this morning. I got up and said, it's going to be a great day. Watch that. Showed you a little bit of it and just like, this is weird. Why am I watching this? Something from the past. I don't know. Some people watch the news. They're like, let me just watch the news.
Okay, I'm going to watch Tom Green.
I'm going to watch Tom Green instead. An old thing that doesn't have anything to do with anything anymore. But it does make me think of like how like there was a lot of people then trying that same thing he did. And then some of those people did become famous, or like I saw like shows I forgot the name of the other guy, but there were some shows that were like doing similar things like his format, because when somebody hits it, they all try to repeat it.
Started it because then that's when you started to see like the ridiculousness,
like
all that stuff kind of started showing up.
Like even at MCAT, I started working at MCAT, and around that time he got picked up by MTV. Well, that was the '90s, so I was like after him, like 2000s. I was hired at MCAT, the Access Television Center, and he was still doing his show then. They were still syndication playing it, and we had guys like college guys coming in and recreating that. And then Jackass, that show started. And we had a ton of high schoolers trying to recreate. Yeah. And we were like, tell you can't break this camera, because they're bringing out these expensive cameras. They could check out equipment and go out and film this stuff in Missoula. And we had a lot of kids recreating their stuff, and especially once the camcorders got a little bit more affordable. We had kids coming in having me. I was helping them edit these movies, and some of the things I saw, I'm like, I hope that's not breaking the law. Like you're just like, I don't know what's going on. This is recorded. But you see people copycat. And then like even like this here, I'm gonna get philosophical. This, like even us doing like a podcast show. But I'm trying to also be like open. Like we're not wearing the headphones right now. We're not like we do have the mic. The mic is just good because it is good quality mic. We're not doing it for you guys live. You guys have the cell phone mic. But we're trying the things that we see other people doing, and we're trying to see if is that for us, or like, you see somebody wearing, like, I'm getting very philosophical, but we do tend to copycat because it's a way of surviving. It's a way like, oh, we saw this person drink this and get better. We saw this person go here and catch fish, so I'm gonna go there and catch fish. It's a natural, like, I'm getting very philosophical. And practical, very analytical. I have that. My grandpa who's passed away, not Grandpa Ken, but Grandpa Rada, Steve Rada, very analytical brain, very science. It's in there. My brain is in there. My brain is it's in there somewhere. Then now there's Christian Ackerman. There's the goofball. That's there too. So it's like this, yay! So I'm a mad scientist. Yes, I'm Doc Brown. But I really think we try. So that goes back where I'm coming. The point of this, when saying all this, I was watching Tom Green, and then it reminded me of all the things that people try to do, and it was kind of amusing to me watching it because it was something from the past, and it's like, wow, this is basically YouTube. And I remember even one time showing in my classroom my old Access television show, and it was like a vlog style, and they didn't call it that. It was just me doing an intro. I was talking to the camera, just like how we're doing now, or how you see on YouTube, but YouTube didn't exist.
Right.
And I was in my 20s, and I was doing this, like,
I know, it's so crazy. I remember, like, you're in your red shirt, you're super,
and like, I was talking,
like, skinny and like young and little. And
yeah, now I'm fat and old.
No,
I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. No.
Little high school scraggly.
I just had to go for that joke because it was there. But I was young, and I just out of high school, so still had that high school look and the feel and stuff. And I got my show on Access Television. I wasn't working for them quite yet, and it was still 1999, and I got my show on Access Television, and we did start getting feedback from people in the city, in the surrounding, because people in the hotels, the college, it wasn't just Missoula County, but it was Grant Creek County, up to Stevensville. We found it was like up to a part of Stevensville. People got us, and certain people like in the valley out in that Montana area. And then once MCAT started doing stuff on streaming online, now we're worldwide. So it totally was like, that was also changing things. So my brothers sometimes would watch the show from here if we did Ascot Live. And it was cool to see how things change and kind of adapt, and you find your way through failure. I think you do find your way, and you find your way by seeing somebody else succeed. It's natural for us to go that route because you see that person succeed. But here's the kicker, though. I think also a lot of people try to be Quentin Tarantino. A lot of people try to be Robert Rodriguez. A lot of people try to be Kevin Smith. They try to go their same routes, and some people got close. I mean, those guys had very similar paths, but they're very different. like Robert Rodriguez. He did the movie Mariachi, and then which we know is Desperado, Once Upon a Time in Mexico. All the kids, younger generation would know him by Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Oh yeah.
If I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
The 3D, the short movies. I knew him because Carlos, my stepdad, had a VHS tape and had his old original shorts like Bedhead, and I watched a bunch of Robert Rodriguez shorts for the first time. I didn't know I was being introduced from my stepdad about Robert Rodriguez, and so and then I started. I'm just sounding like I'm trying to do my best to stay on this path here. That's very. It's like we're walking on a trail. I'm like, oh, look at that bird. It eats its own poop. And then you're like, why are you telling me? Let me explain. I'm going to explain. And you have to wait until the end. And you're like, that's it? Why didn't you just say the thing and just tell me? So we're going on this path. So anyways, I saw these things and I watched like behind the scenes of movies and all this stuff. And I'm getting to this whole like, like how we were talking about, I saw a lot of kids recreating Jackass, a lot of kids, young college guys trying to be Tom Green. They were trying, some of them kind of were successful, not all, or some of them just did it and they found out one thing, because I always find out that even though it looks so silly, how much work goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
This is like hard. When you do stuff like this, it's hard to do this, dude. Like, I'm going to do it tonight. Like, I want to do it tonight. I'm going to make this thing happen. I'm going to work on this movie. I'm going to make this happen. There's definitely always work at the end of the day to do that thing that you want to be successful at, or to imitate that you see other people being successful at, and hopefully you'll get that success. If that defines your success, right?
Right.
Or you're going to feel like you're not successful because you have this thing, this expectation that's really high, and they're going to find out, wow, there's a lot of work to get here, where some of these guys were doing a lot of work and it didn't feel like work to them. They were just trying to get laughs, and all of a sudden they never thought like somebody would pick them up for a show. Robert Rodriguez was just trying to get sold. He always says, I read his book. I have his book actually sitting right up there, Rebel Without a Crew, right there. He was just trying to get into the foreign market of, like bottom of the shelf, like rental store video. He may do a screening here and there. It's cool when you hear him talk, and then all of a sudden his life went, I don't know why it sounded like that, but that's how it went.
Interesting direction.
And then he just took off and went with it. And it was crazy to hear those stories and see that happen, especially with, if you guys remember, like some of those who are watching this later, watching now, me being a 90s kid, 80s kid, 90s teenager, I was a 90s teenager growing up. You find this stuff out. I had to find it by people passing VHS tapes to each other, or just happening to watch the right TV program. Like Carlos, my stepdad, had recorded his own copies of Robert Rodriguez. So even finding information was different. Nowadays you can Google everything. Back in the day when that was all starting, it was Ask Jeeves. I don't think anybody remembers that. Yahoo is still kind of a thing, and there is still Yahoo around. Kinda. I still see people's emails with Yahoo on them, which is weird.
Needs to update.
Hotmail,
Yeah.
which was MSNBC, MSN. Yeah, bought that. There was a weird way of finding out information, but nowadays you can just stumble upon it. The thing is, like, what do we do with that information? Like the stuff that we're excited about, that it like pushes us forward, that makes us want to do things. And so I find by watching all these guys' stories, I'm going to just use myself blatantly as an example. By watching all these guys' stories, that's how I got into my industry. I actually got my foot in the door. It was like watching these guys, because I was like, I'm going to do that. And just being naive. And I had so many people telling me, you can't make a movie without money. Budget. I'm like, that's true. Like, you just can't go, hey, make a movie with no camera. I mean, I could write a script. So I started doing that kind of stuff. I would write scripts and do storyboards, like comic book-y kind of things. And then made a film. And then made the next movie. And made the next movie. And I remember showing my film in San Marcos, just near here where we live, San Marcos. in my dad's house, and a bunch of the skater kids and the friends from the neighborhood, and our friends are just packed in our little living room watching something I made, and that was nerve wracking. And I was like, now kids like that age that I was in high school put their stuff out there, and they're publishing millions and billions and zillions of people can see.
So lucky that when you were that age, there was no TikTok. Like
Yeah.
life could have been really weird and different.
And it is for people nowadays.
I mean, because like when we were doing stuff at MCAT, like there was no YouTube. But
yeah.
We were doing YouTube stuff. You were vlogging before vlogging.
Yeah. Just so you can see her better. You're in like the red light district over there.
That's where I'm at.
Oh, but yeah. So yeah, it was like we were when we were doing it, it was exciting because we were having fun making movies with our friends.
I think the thing is for you, like you just do it because you enjoy it and you love it.
Yeah, Michelle liked your joke.
But I mean, like, for you, you're never doing it like to like I'm impressing people. You're just like I like that.
I want to make this movie. This is my idea.
I enjoy it, so I'm gonna.
That's where me and Kaden get along very well.
Yeah.
Kaden's just like I have this idea. I'm gonna put it out.
I don't care if anybody else
put it out
is
there.
On board. I like it, so I'm gonna do it.
I know people be like, "Why are you doing this?" And I mean, because I want to tell the story. It's something I want to watch and I want to try. Plus, there's not just the telling the story. The fun of going, there's a little weird thing that happens in my brain. I'm always thinking about this. Like, what's my problem? Why do I like making movies? Like right now, I'm so like, I've been working on somebody else's film. I have to like stop everything I'm doing. This is nice because it's easier to like do this for me. For me, this is easy. So I'm going to do it. Like this vlogging, podcasting thing that we do. But I have a script over here. I've been working on somebody's movie like day in, day out, every night, been working on their film. And it's been fun. It's been awesome. And then it gets me excited to finally get to touch and work my film because there'll be a moment where I have to let them review things and make changes on the cut that I'm doing. I'm editing a film right now. And they'll review it and I'll have a little bit of time to kind of like wait for that info to come back. And then I'll have to get back into it again. But I'll be able to finish, like I've been working on my Metal Rebound movie. I have 2 other films. One of them is being worked on by Lucas LaPara. And then I have my other film that when we just moved, I was just wrapping up Metal Rebound. It was another movie. And this movie, like I'm getting to this thing, is if you look at my movies, if you watch them, like Space Lock right now, you can go watch at fastcoastfilmacademy.com. Just go on there and you can watch it for free. I showed it in a theater. We had 2 showings of it because we packed out. It's a small theater, but we packed out the house, like packed it out. Where like, nice. Yeah, where they were like, we got to show this again. Didn't we? How many showings did we do? Just 2 showings, right?
I think it was 2.
Yeah, we did 2, and we got to sit in finally on that second showing. And then I remember the people that got turned away actually came back. Mm-hmm. Which was awesome. If anybody didn't come back, I didn't notice because they came back. Yeah, it was full. Like the one student came up to me, he's like, "I'm so proud of you." Like it was like, "Oh, thank you. That's awesome." Because it is a hard work to get your movie out there, especially. I'm very harsh critic. Like everything. Like if you say, "Oh, I don't like this," I disagree. I'm like, I'm already there with you. I've already done it. You're preaching to the choir kind of thing. Like I've already made it happen. In my head, I'm already being mean to myself. But anyways, but getting like it, like the point of like bringing up all the like we once did it this way, then we see all the people follow this person, try to imitate this what they did, duplicate what they did is the better description, copycat, like I was saying. And then you do see some people, like even big time businesses, copycat what other people do. And then you see like I'm gonna use his name, Post Malone is another great example, just like putting out a track out there and picking up speed and becoming famous. Is it Billy, am I saying her name right? I forgot her name.
No, Billie Eilish or English or something.
Sorry, not my generation, but she's good.
Not my generation,
right?
I don't know. They say she's good. I don't know.
Yeah, her and her brother.
Her brother.
Yeah, I watched the David Letterman interview thing, and he talked to him. It was very interesting. If you watched my next guest, I forgot the name of his show, great show. You get to know these. He does a very candid interviews with people. And so I watched that, and it was very intriguing to me, especially because the students I was teaching at Corvallis High School, a lot of the girls and the guys were into her music and into their music and stuff. And so I just, oh yeah,
True.
imitation is the best form of flattery.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. I'm going to tell you, I found, close handed, like that happened to me. I'm sorry to embarrass my brothers, Corbin and Chase, but Chase, watching him do things and imitating like what I was doing, or watching Callie when she was little. Sorry, Callie, if you watch this later. Pretending to act like you and Meredith from Virtual 3000. And then Caden making movies going, hey Papa, he's always like, I see what you're doing, but I want to do better. Like he wants to, it's not like a competition. He wants to use that. He says inspired. I want to be inspired
Yeah.
and get better. And yeah, and if he gets better, that's good. That's how that's kind of the teacher is in me. Like whenever I saw my students do better than me at something, I'm like, oh cool, I can hire them. I don't have to do it anymore. It's like I always like jokingly like tell their parents I'm exploiting them for what they do well, and they would laugh and
It's like Emery at the playground.
Yeah, yeah.
Like making people laugh. I was watching her the other day, and she was being silly.
Yeah.
And she was like picking up like was it like the bark chips and like pretending like she was like throwing them up and like throwing them out and making all these kids laugh. And I was like,
that
she
was
is
me
a
on the
small
playground.
clone of you.
Yeah, yeah.
She's a little girl version, but she's like, I just wanted to make them laugh. I'm like, oh my god.
Make them laugh, make them laugh. But yeah, and like seeing the imitation of that. So then you do hear the negative part of that, like when people go, "Oh, that's been done before."
Well, those are just sad humans.
Or I can't do that. It's been done before. I'm like, well, you like a sandwich, don't you? You don't go like, sandwich, that's been done before. You know, you don't go like, t-shirts, those have been done before.
Underwear, please.
It's been done before. They just do it again, but in different ways, right? Like, you know, they try different things. They're like, let's instead of a sandwich, let's put meat in the middle of it. Oh, a hamburger. Let's put like everything become a sandwich. Really, like I'm gonna take breakfast and put it in a burrito. Burrito, you know, like burritos, they've been done before.
Let's have them at breakfast.
Yeah, I used to say this. I would have this conversation with kids in my classroom when I was teaching them about filmmaking and stuff. That would be a common thing. Like, I don't want to do this because immediately the kids in the classroom would become movie producers. Mm-hmm. Like immediately they were like, this is serious, which was great because they're going for a grade. So it was like there was money on the table, which is the grade. That's like, and then they would go, Hot Pockets are little explosive devices that explode in your mouth and burn your tongue. And then you have Diarrhea Pocket. Stole that from, what's his name? Jim Gaffigan. Anyways, Diarrhea Pocket, Hot Pocket.
I watch Jim Gaffigan's stand-up. He's
hilarious. And then, that goes into with comedians. They always get imitation, you know, and stuff like that. But anyways, and they would like say that's been done before, or like that's going in that line of imitation stuff, where I think it's okay because Spielberg, if you watch older movies, he tells you in his interviews, he goes, hey, I love this film. Or George Lucas does the same thing. Like, I imitated these. Go watch these movies. These are the movies I watch. If you watch those films, you will see shots like exactly the same in his movies, and you're like, well, there is his own take on it, his own delivery of it, and his own presentation of it, but they're exactly like, it's like he'll name off like movies and you'll be like, oh, that's that he got inspired to put that in his film, and he talks about that all the time. And I do the same thing. I'm like, I'm going to take a little bit of this. I love John Carpenter. Take Robert Rodriguez. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to do this with this video. These movie guys I like. I liked John Carpenter's Halloween, so we're going to put that in our Carpenter film with a K. Or we were flattering people if that was like copycatting big time. We did it on purpose. We love those movies like that, like the Michael Myers stuff and all that stuff. So we just threw that in there, and our movie actually did very well. And it's still, to this day, it's still doing well on Amazon and some other Tubi and stuff like that. A lot of movies are still out there doing pretty well.
Yeah, a lot of places I think we didn't even realize.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
I just realized Tubi, that was a thing.
Yeah, it was like I was all bummed when they would take my other films off of Amazon, and I was like, no, but there's other places.
Amazon kind of sucks now. I'm just gonna say Amazon, like Prime Video.
Yeah.
Not loving what they're doing.
Yeah, so it's like going into a movie store and you're like, let's see what they have. Nothing, and then they have a ton of movies though.
Well, you're paying for it. This is what gets me. You pay for it yearly, right? And then you go on there and like 75% of the stuff you still have to rent. I'm like, why am I even bothering to pay you every year? That really irks me.
Why?
It irks me.
Why?
That's my rant. I'm out.
No, that was good. That was like a little commercial sites. I love these. As the tangents.
A commercial for why not to have Amazon.
Why not to have Amazon? Go to Tubi.
But now they're like ripping us off.
Yeah, go. I actually look for like I actually do because I love films, and I showed her this whole thing. She didn't even know what a Criterion thing, like a collection of movies were. I had to show you at Barnes and Noble. Like, look at this. They're 50%. Even Scott Ramp, who my buddy, he saw them too. 50% off, and I'm like, yes. And it also a little sad in my heart when you see 50% off. It means they're probably getting rid of it, and they're not going to ever return. And it's a little piece of me dies a little bit, and then you have to go online and try to find these things that could be a million, like not millions, but a lot of money, because they're already a lot of money. They're like $60 to $80 because they have little booklets inside and little extras. Anyways, I was showing her that, and I remember like that's what I was making movies at the time. I was imitating, trying to do that. I'd make a lot of my movies that you can't even watch now, because the physical media, it's very rare to find my films on physical media. Or even now, like when I watch a movie, like get a movie, it's rare to have bonus material or find it online. It's very hard. So I'm going to be trying to do something with my movies that I just try to, instead of imitating somebody, which I was doing, I want to try to keep that alive, but in a different platform way where you can get I think Disney Plus did a little bit where you can get like a pack, like you go watch that movie and then they have little extras added, like you can watch the behind the scenes, and sometimes they have like an extra, like a deleted scene or like an extra interview or something like that. But I want to do something like what the physical media thing had for a while, was those extras, like you got like, I'm not talking about like director's cut versus the theatrical release or the whatever you call it, the streaming release now. But I want to do things like, I love my physical media collection where I have the audio commentaries. I love my movies. Kind of like when music comes out. I loved it when I would get, like, I remember the cassette days. You get your cassette or your CD and you open up and you pull out the picture, and it wasn't just a picture, it was like a book. It was like a magazine that had extra stuff on it, and then they had a secret track. Or they had, like, you put it in your computer and you get the extra, like, poster.
Or the secret song on the CD.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
I want that again. And right now, this is a rant. Now, this is our real rant. And this is not what I'm talking about. This is just a tangent rant. But I want that. And maybe the point of it is why we, like, people start to imitate. There is a drive. You have to have a drive, because you find out it's work when you try to do something somebody else has done. You find out you still, no matter what, have to pave your own way. You have to still pioneer your own road. You still have to engineer it to fit you. Not everybody's way fits your way. That's why when people go to college, they go and they'll, sometimes they don't use their degree, or they do, or they change it and they find their own path. They find their own way to success, and those stories, those journeys become very interesting. But what I think I've been ranting a lot along. I don't know if this is going to be a short episode because I had a very big long pre-show.
Can you tell how long it's been?
I don't know. I don't know. Is this thing on? I'm just kidding. I feel like all of a sudden we're doing a Zoom meeting. I don't know how to get the mic. You don't know what's on. I start like taking off my shirt. This turned into a different show. If we don't know, we're recording live. Anyways, I'll get to.
It's been like 45 minutes.
Okay.
It's been an hour.
It's been an hour?
Just about an hour, yeah.
Oh, it's going to cut us off. So I am going to wrap this up because Instagram will just shut us down. So.
Shut it down.
not talking about a journey. We're talking about imitation, trying to get to like success based off of what other people have done, right? That's kind of what we've been talking about.
I'm just a big proponent. Do your own thing.
Yeah, and you do have to do your own thing, but you do follow others. That, like I was saying, an example is you saw the guy go to the you're out. Your goal is I want to catch some fish so I can eat tonight. You see somebody walking from that area, that river or that part of the pond, and they have a ton of fish. I'm gonna go where that guy went. I want to go try it out, and I'll go try out. But then sometimes, well, he was there all day before you, and the fish now are left, and it's different. And sometimes I noticed that too when I was going, like when I talked last time about my on the other little rant I did, where I was trying to get my movies into a video rental store while the video rental stores were being like shut down. Wasn't thinking about that, and so being aware of there's certain times to hit, and we're learning that right now with this whole thing. Like, when is the time to go to the pond? When is the time to fish? When is the time to to get what you want, like in viewership and stuff like that, if that's the analogy. So we're learning right now. We're just figuring out, even if it looks like a big mess, that's another thing, is like I've decided, like, I'm gonna do this no matter what, even if it looks like a mess, and you guys out there watch me fall on my face so many times, I am going to get back up and I'm going to keep going. And you're going to see me fall on my face again. I'm going to get back up and I'm going to keep going, because it's work to get there. I don't want to be the one who like gives up and then walks away and like, while I've been trying, it'd be a sad story if I just gave up when I was like this close. And sometimes the people outside of your circle that look into your circle, they see you are a lot closer than you think. And for example, I was talking to you today, is I want to start, I did in Montana, and I feel bad for the people in Montana that I did this. I started doing movie, like it was like basically like a movie club, but it was my Fastcoast Film Academy, and I brought that with me. Like I left and came down here with me, and I want to start that up here again. But you have to have consistency. Like we did meet like on a consistent basis. Like every time it would be a Wednesday or a Thursday, depending on when we were shooting or where we were shooting. And we would and all we were doing is we were making a movie, and we were hanging out too. It was like a hangout. It was a hang, and we were making films. We were creating something, and we all had purpose because we had to help each other make this like cool thing, and which is coming out. It looks really cool, and it's cool. Like I think that's why a lot of us like movies, like a lot of filmmakers and actors, or theater or dance or whatever. It's a group effort, and you don't feel alone when you're doing something because you all have the same goal. It could be like if I'm directing and writing, producing, this is my vision. It could be a very lonely place, but then it's really encouraging when people go, oh, that's cool, I'll help you out, because they have a safety net of, they're not the one that has to be the one who's opening or closing at the end of the day. They're not they don't have to be the first one to arrive,
right,
and the last one to leave.
Right.
And they know that they can give this much of the blood, sweat, and tears, or the fun, have fun, do a little bit of the work, but then they know I'm going to be carrying that movie up the mountain, and I'm going to get it shown, because I have this driving force. Even if it takes me years or it takes me months or however long it takes, I'm going to try to accomplish this. And right now I have a bunch of things like that right now, where like I bet you people are like, well, when's that going to happen? I mean, this was supposed to come out a long time ago. You have a lot of that, but I have this like desire to finish, to pursue. I remember there's if trying to go for like saying like when we were talking about the Access or Tom Green, the people were trying to imitate Tom Green, people were trying to imitate Johnny Knoxville, trying to imitate Robert Rodriguez and those filmmakers and Spielberg and stuff like that, or musicians out there like Post Malone and stuff like that. Some of those people will become successful because they are putting in that work effort, and they're going to get out there. I don't know if they'll get exactly the Post Malone, but we did see other people come out that same kind of gate, kind of like I use in film, because I'm more a film guy, is Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino, Kevin Smith. Those were all people that kind of were like just cashed in all their money, all threw in the dice, cashed in all their chips, and then went for it. and they worked their butts off, and they had a lot of obstacles, and they kept going, and then they succeeded in the end because they were a brute force they were not going to stop. Like when you hear them talk about those early days, you could tell they were not going to stop. And if you become that brute force, like you have that why, that goal, like that outcome, like I need to do this. You have like, this is what I'm going to accomplish today. I'm going to do this. I'm going to set out and do this. No, you'll get distractions, but it's not going to affect you too much because you're a brute force. You're going that extra mile. You're trying, like, I know if I get here, this is gonna be hot, and it keeps on, like, it's almost sometimes feels like a carrot's being dangled in front of you when you're going for this thing. And then once you get there, and then like I was talking about with, like, I got there and then it changed, the whole system changed. Like they're like, videos are now streaming. And I was like, whoa, I had to really pivot. And that is a constant. All the time is a constant. This time, while we're doing things, we're trying, even if this, like the podcast thing and all that, it's been going on, it's dying out, whatever it is, we're just trying to be on this wave until the next wave happens or until the next thing happens. We're like there. We're like, oh, you can more, like, I get the idea is recognize your, I guess, your end goal. Like, because sometimes when you get there, when you climb up to that mountain, you get there, you're like, okay, I did it. Sometimes it feels like that, and you're like, oh, and you get a cool view, and you're like, sweet. And then you're like, you see the next mountain, and you're like, I gotta get over there. And then it's that trek again. You have to start all over again and do that trek. Or maybe this mountain you got up on, you just got so good that now you know how to, like, parachute to the next mountain, fly to the next mountain. It maybe becomes a little bit easier. You've learned things. You built things. You're like, your skill level is like the rocket pack or your plane or your helicopter, whatever it is, whatever that vehicle is for your success. Again, speaking all analogies and similes here, but that's what I'm discovering, like, on my course of trying things. Sometimes I walk into success. The last thing I was talking about is walking into it by accident, like when the guys from YouTube said, hey, we'll take your movie, and then the other distributors were coming, and I was like, I didn't know I was in this peak of success at the time. At the time too, that's when YouTubers were becoming famous. Mm-hmm. They didn't become famous then. It was like that 10-year mark from that point. That's where, like, you see all these other YouTubers, that's where they started, when things started clicking, and because they caught that wave. But it wasn't easy. They were like non-sleeping. Like if you look at Mr. Beast's story, he like stayed up just making videos, content. Another one I know of, Adam the Woo, same thing. If you look at the Neistat brothers, Casey Neistat, Van Neistat, they were making content like that, got onto Showtime, so they had success. And then Van Neistat's like, all of a sudden, then that was over. The television thing was over. And then he sees his brother getting viral videos and doing stuff, and he's like, what is this? He doesn't even know what the YouTube is. And then his brother helps him out. And then he's like, oh, and now he's like, he's blowing it up right now in the bathroom. No, I'm just kidding. But they're doing very well. If you look up Neistat, like Van Neistat, Casey Neistat, these guys are doing very well, making movies. And they were like friends with the Safdie brothers, the guys that did Uncut Gems and all those great films. And which one of them I totally nerded out. I saw is in I can't even say it right now. Oppenheimer. So I was like, it's a Safdie brother.
Oppenheimer, I think of the Selling the Sunset, the real estate group.
Oh yeah.
See, different spectrums, different brains.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, but that's so good. So, like, I'm seeing all you guys joining right now. This is awesome. So hi everybody. And if you're still there, I don't think you are, but you'll see the recording later. Hi, Whitney. Hi, Douglas. Hurricane Hall. Hi. Hi. If you guys, some of you guys pop in like, oh, cool, they're live, okay, and then you leave. That's cool. It'll be playing again. But thank you for watching. But I'm just saying is, like, no matter, even if the stuff changes, I find myself, I'm still going. Like, I'm still like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this film. I'm going to do it this way. Now I have to do it this different way. I have to learn that. It's like you always have to relearn everything. And you have to be ready to be like that. You have to be nonstop. You like brutal force, like a non-stoppable brutal force that just keeps going. You're just going to be like, I made up my mind today. I'm going to have a good day. I'm going to get this stuff done, and this is what I'm going to go for. And that's what you have to do. Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Or am I stupid? You got to keep going. Like, I remember being in my classroom telling the kids that very vulnerable story of me trying to figure out how to raise some money because I didn't know I had to pay for my office. I had to pay for, I think it was our rent at the time or something like that. Very vulnerable thing. It's a whole nother thing I don't have time to go into. But it was one of those moments where what I shared was, I had my phone in my hand. I like to take walks to think. I took a walk and I was walking around and like a stupid thought came in my head, which I think that's how I think. That's how negative I am. I went, the stupid thought, that's stupid. I was like, what if I saw a dinosaur right there? What if I saw a dinosaur right there? And then I was like, oh yeah, let me make a video of a dinosaur. And then all of a sudden the idea started coming. Oh yeah, what if I made a show about dinosaurs? Does somebody want to see a show about dinosaurs? If you want to see a show about dinosaurs, donate right now. And I saw this video. This video is sitting in my phone. I'm like, am I really gonna post this stupid thing? I didn't like. I had a hat on. I was all wet from walking around outside. Like I didn't look prepared. And I was like, post. And I'm like, what did I just do? And then all of a sudden, that same day, we had enough money to get that thing going. We were able to get we bought gift cards for the people that were doing it. And then they were like, no, we don't need anything. It was really weird. People just ended up helping us out, raise money for this thing. And we were able to do this project. And it was amazing. And we filmed it. Everything's ready to go. And here's the thing. I haven't launched it yet because our life has been literally changing every second. But here's the thing. I keep saying, here's the thing. It reminds me of Jack Kohlberg, my old late friend, Jack Kohlberg. Yes, people are going to judge you no matter what you're doing and trying to do. Right now, I'm not stupid. We can see, you feel the eyes on you. You feel the people going, While that's happening, while you're under the heat, are you going to still get up off the ground while you're beaten up, knocked on the ground by life? Are you going to get up, get off that ground, dust yourself off, and just keep going? Because life is like that big bully. It's there to, right when we're born, we're we can't breathe. And back in the day, the doctor would slap your butt and he's like, welcome to Earth, and or stick stuff in your mouth and they're sucking it. It's not. When we're born, it's boom. It's welcome to Earth. Now everything around you is going to try to kill you. Seriously. And it's what are you going to do? And it's well, I'm going to keep going. Once you have that moment of your parents raised you, whoever raised you, you're going to you learn to walk or whatever it is. We have this might to just survive and be alive. And then something happens along the way when we get older and we go, I don't know, that's okay. I'm okay with that. And we just give up. Or are we going to get that tenacity and that perseverance and go, you know what? When the world comes at you and goes, boom, and knocks you down, you'll be like, all right, I see how it is. But I'm still here and I'm going to still do my movie, my business, my motivational speaking, my podcasts. I'm going to conquer and go to college and graduate. I'm going to start a school. I'm going to make these things happen. And life is going to go, well, here's this. And it's going to knock you down. Are you going to get back up again and go, I'm still here while you're bloody and messed up? That's what I did when I posted that video of the dinosaurs. That's what I'm doing right now. Every day I'm posting videos. I'm right now there's the streaming services and all that with the movies, and you see the actor strike and all this stuff. There's all this negative in the world. Are you still going to stand up while the world is negative? And are you going to do something positive? Are you going to stand up and keep going, hey, I'm still here? I always picture Lieutenant Dan up on the boat, like screaming out at the storm with missing legs, and he's like, "Ha ha!" And he's like, "I'm still here," and he's doing it, and he's killing it. That's a just a character, right? No, there's people every day we will watch. I'll show her videos and the kids' videos. I used to show these in my classroom where like a girl lost her hearing, completely lost her hearing while she was in high school in a music program or college. I forget the exact story, and she had to give up music. And then she's like, I don't want to give up music. Music is what I do. So she goes, I'll take off my shoes and I'll fill, and then I'll use a guitar tuner because I can see the digital readout of like if I'm in tune. And she would sing, and she can't even hear her own voice. She can't hear music, and then she sings music to this day and records music. And it was America's Got Talent, I think, right? And she won America's Got. She got the golden buzzer. She got the golden buzzer. Sorry. And then seeing stories about this guy who was born without arms or a leg. He just has like a foot, like a little flipper. And he goes around and he's a motivational speaker, and he plays soccer and he swims, and he's married and has kids now, and he's this Australian motivational speaker. Like there's a lot of people that have a lot of obstacles more than we do, and it's just our minds that like you find out at the end of the day, it's our mind that stops us. It's our own negativity that stops us, and we need to stop being that way and need to go for the things we like. That thing you want to do, once you decide to step out and do it, that's when like I get excited about that. Like that, now we're doing this. Like I always like when I'm telling someone, okay, now I'm gonna have to commit to this. I'm doing this, or I'm gonna go drive out to LA to meet this filmmaker to see if I can get hired. I'm gonna drive out to Polson to see if I can meet this actor. I'm gonna drive out. I always go out, like, and some of my friends who've been on films, if they ever seen like on a movie set and I'm walking on set and they're like, what's Christian doing here? That's what I'm doing. I'm just showing up. And then normally every time I've gotten the job by just showing up. That's how we have to be with life. We have to show up. We're like, okay, we're here. Like after the world goes boom, pushes us down, we just get back up and go, hey, let's go. Let's go. And sometimes we do have to rest for a moment and get back up and go, you know what? Today's going to be a good day. I got knocked down so many times yesterday, but today's going to be a good day. Always at night, right? Everybody has anxiety at night because we're coming off the whole like what the day was like. We could have a good day and all of a sudden the anxiety, oh, what if tomorrow's different? What if that? I always have that at night, and then when I get up in the morning, I'm like, okay, I feel like it's a brand new day. Mm-hmm. I've been trying to train myself at night to go have that mentality at night. So when I go to bed, I have it twice. So when I wake up, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Mm-hmm. It's like that cheesy song from Annie, tomorrow, it's only a day away. Because tomorrow sounds like future. Tomorrow sounds like reset. Tomorrow sounds like anything can happen. Even though you might have like, oh, I have this, I don't know, ultimate doom tomorrow. I don't know what, I have a surgery, or I have to go to the doctor, or I have to go to this job interview, or I don't even know what tomorrow looks like because I don't even know what to do, and I'm freaking out because there's nothing. There's always something you can do. Something. I have to physically get up, do something. I have to make things with my hands. I'm very creative. I have to do something. And then if you do something, that's when things start to happen. That's when people start being in your movies. That's when people start watching your films. That's when your movies start going places. Not even movies. That's when your business starts doing things. That's when people start hiring you. You sometimes have to work to make work. You have to do to make things happen. Sometimes you have to stimulate. You have to have action. Our chiropractor, Dr. Wolf, in Hamilton, Montana, would say motion. You got to have motion to heal. You have motion to heal. And that's why sometimes I think after you're beat up, it's time to get back up. Keep moving. You got to keep moving. Sharks die if they stop moving, stop swimming. They I'm not a biologist or what I almost said cosmetologist. I was really getting off, and then I was going to really go off the marine biologist. I'm not one of those. And they constant movement. Moving is like, I even like it. Brad Pitt, World War Z. You stay, you die, you move, you survive. Something, I butchered that saying. It was something like that. He was telling everybody, we have to keep moving.
Yeah, move forward. And if something sucks, pick up and move forward. And if this sucks, then pick up and move forward. And you just keep moving, keep going.
Yeah.
You're going to find your way. And maybe this way isn't it. And it's just like, then you're like, oh my gosh, this was it the whole time. Yeehaw.
Yes.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeehaw.
That's really good.
You're so welcome. That's my contribution.
Well, I feel like we actually talked about something. That was awesome. Well, thank you for listening to the Mr. Ackerman Rant podcast 3000. I'm Christian Ackerman. This is my wife, Danielle Ackerman. And thank you for joining us here on our live, for those who are on live, and I got to talk to you guys. And if you want to join us live and you're listening to this at Apple Podcast or Podbean or YouTube.com, we do a show every Monday. It comes out on Mondays on YouTube. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. But if you want the full show, the unedited, the director's cut of the show with the pre-show and the little bit of the after show, go ahead and subscribe to our follow, is what they use. Follow our Instagram at the Mr. Ackerman Official, and we have links and all that. Some of you have been watching on Instagram, but if you're listening to our podcast, that's where you go. You can go to christianackerman.com, and that has links to all the things I was talking about. So go to christianackerman.com, and then you can also watch all our old shows, episodes. We've been doing this now for a month now, and we have a ton of that all, yeah. But we have a ton of content. I can't talk. We have 8 episodes, technically 9 episodes. Technically 8 because this Monday we'll have an episode out. These re-show on Monday. So you can, like, the things that we've recorded before.
8, then that's 2 months.
Yeah, like we have a lot of content, but it said a month ago, I think. Yeah, we have a lot. Yeah.
Maybe just because you haven't released them all yet.
Yeah, maybe that is, we're ahead. So this is like ahead of the game show. So something we're trying a little bit of everything to make this happen.
You don't know unless you try.
Unless you try. But anyways, thank you for listening to the Mr. Ackerman Rant podcast 3000. I'm Christian Ackerman, like I said, and this is Danielle Ackerman, and this was our rant. And I try to keep it movies because I'm a movie guy. I love movies. So give us ideas, comment if you have suggestions of things to talk about. And I might even do some things where I'm going to start showing. We're going to start picking up filming again, filming some projects and doing some other awesome things with the Fastcoast Film Academy soon. We'll keep you guys posted on that as well. Thanks for listening, guys.